Nuchen Topakan Asian, Che Tupuan, Muyana Murkao. Our culture to us is important because it that identifies us who we are.
Ignacio, Colorado lies in the heart of the Southern Ute Reservation.
Our language, our culture, our tradition.
The tradition is proudly displayed throughout the town, outside
One open space.
and in.
We call this, in our language, Tikakan, a place where you eat.
Alden Naranjo ate many meals inside this school dining hall.
It has fed a lot of students, Navajo, Ute, Apaches.
This dining hall is one of 3 buildings which remain from the Ute boarding school built by the U.S. government in 1901. The other 2 buildings include the girls' dormitory and the main school and gymnasium building. The boarding school's purpose?
They wanted to take the Indian out of the child and put him into the mainstream society.
The boarding schools kept children on campus, preventing them from learning the tribal ways of their elders.
They were forbidden to go home. All their hair was cut. They were given kind of like uniforms. They were also forbidden to speak their language. In a way, saying, we're taking your identity away from you. You're going to be like me. I'm going to teach you how to be like me.
Tribal members call it a cultural ethnocide that their youth need to understand and never forget.
And they don't know the atrocities about, the sayings that were there in the newspapers that we all saw. Utes must go. Manifest destiny was going on. People were moving this way. We were getting pushed out. I don't want to be assimilated. I don't want my grandkids. I don't want our people to become somebody that doesn't have an identity.
That fierce loyalty to culture ultimately proved too much for the strict practices at the government schools.
That practice changed in the late 40s where the students were allowed to speak their language and also attend their cultural ceremonies.
We were told not to be Native, but I didn't get that message.
Linda Baker lived in the girls' dormitory in the 1970s. By then, the school itself had become a community preschool, and students living in the dorms attended public schools in Ignacio.
And when I came here to the dorm, there were fluent Navajo speakers here, there were fluent Apache speakers here, there were fluent Ute speakers here.
The campus, originally built to assimilate Native Americans into mainstream America, became an incubator for students to reconnect with their tribal past.
It was very important to come back here and realize who you were, who your relatives were, what made you unique as a Southern Ute. That formed my identity for the rest of my life.
The 3 remaining buildings from the boarding school now sit mostly vacant, leaving tribal leaders with a familiar question: what to do with the old, unused buildings?
We ourselves are not decision makers, but we can present our case to tribal council for them to make their own educated determination on what direction we should go.
It's going to cost us money to demolish it. It's going to cost us money to keep it going. What's the savings? How can we save it? How much money are we going to actually put into this building to keep it going? What are we going to use it for?
Those fighting for the building's future say the buildings represent more than just a dark time in the tribe's history.
Most often when we think back about this time, it is the atrocities that took place, but it also reflects the nature of our ancestors fighting to preserve what they could.
It's ironic that, the school was built to take away the Indian out of the children, but now the historical parts of the buildings that's left, it gives us a story.
After how many hundreds of years, we're still here. We're not going to be Anglo when we pass away. We're still going to be Ute.